And there's plenty of good research institutions here in the United States. Plenty of good people out there. Joining us now to talk about all this, policy analyst at CFACT, Republican strategist, and former vice chair at the New Jersey Federation of Republican Women, Melanie Collette, along with former press secretary at the Department of Education and spokesperson at the Defense of Freedom Institute, Angela Morabito. Thanks both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, the 38 universities we're talking about, but there's got to be plenty out there that have quality research. So, are they really running a risk here?
They are, for sure. I don't think there's a risk in research, but what I do think is that if these universities are so concerned about that, then maybe they should do what the president is asking policy-wise and what the American people have asked by electing him, and stop using these DEI practices. The practices don't even do what they're set out to do, which is why there's this narrative that is supposed to be helping black folks, black women, black men, and really there's a very, very small minority of people of color that DEI even helps. So comply with what President Trump is asking or lose your funding is really very simple.
Angela, I think trying to rid out DEI and wokeness from universities across the country gonna go down is one of President Trump's biggest accomplishments here. We're talking about the future of the country. We see the kind of product that's coming out of our universities. Take a look at any of the Ivy League schools. It's kind of ridiculous here. And so I'd say the education department as a whole, higher ed here, major issue, big time. This has got to be done.
Very much so. And just about a year ago, we thought wokeness was on its way out. We knew that a second Trump administration was coming. One of his first actions in office was a slew of executive orders designed at eradicating DEI from schools and from the federal government. But universities, teachers' unions, these progressive enclaves, they are the last bastions of wokeness in America, because the general public realizes how discriminatory and just frankly ignorant this ideology is. We don't want it. We have rejected it. So universities that continue to embrace this harmful ideology are hurting themselves in the long term.
Well, I'll tell you what, it certainly hasn't been the message that's gotten to everyone. Listen to this. The University of Minnesota is now offering whiteness pandemic resources to caregivers as a way to re-educate themselves and guide children. The school's Institute of Child Development and Culture and Family Life Lab website reads, quote, "Naming the whiteness pandemic shifts our gaze from the victims and effects of racism onto the systems that perpetrate and perpetuate racism, starting with the family system. At birth, young children growing up in white families begin to be socialized into the culture of whiteness, making the family system one of the most powerful systems involved in systemic racism." What?
What did you just read?
What? I mean, that's it in a nutshell. You read this and you go, seriously?
What even was that, Melanie?
I don't know. I'm about to turn the same color as my jacket. It makes me so angry. I was in education for 24 years, spent 5 years as an adjunct professor, and this is a very classic case of the kind of training that you get about being culturally sensitive and all of these things, and it's absolute buffoonery. It makes me crazy, and it's one of the reasons why I'm no longer in that space. But you know, this is not what DEI was intended to do. And that's the problem. This is what leftists do to well-intentioned policies.
Angela, I feel like they're telling people to feel bad for being white. I'm just going to call it like I see it. That's what they're going to teach kids to learn as they grow up.
To call anyone's skin color a pandemic is absolutely racist and absolutely wrong. If they really wanted to study families, these people would realize that families are found in pretty much every culture on earth and have been throughout the history of the entire world. I'm not sure where they got the idea that that's a problem, especially when data shows over and over again that no matter who you are, where you are, or what you look like, a two-parent family creates the best outcomes for kids.
Melanie, when do you think the message is going to get through to them that this is just not the way normal people look at America, education, children's families? The families are the source of this racism and whiteness?
I would argue that the message has gotten through and that these are merely the voices that are the loudest on the left that are running things. You will find when you dig into things like text messages and things like that of people on the left, reasonable people on the left understand that this is crazy, that the nuclear family is a very important part of a strong America,